A mysterious U.S. spaceplane has captured global attention, not just for its technology, but for what it might mean for the future of space exploration. The X-37B, an uncrewed craft with extraordinary capabilities, is now being described by Chinese researchers as a possible space killer. That warning raises urgent questions. Is this craft simply a research platform, or could it redefine how nations use space? The U.S. Space Force's X-37B is one of the most advanced and secretive orbital vehicles ever built. Designed by Boeing, this uncrewed, reusable spaceplane has completed 7 successful missions before its most recent 8th launch. Across these flights, it has accumulated over 1.3 billion miles traveled and remained in orbit for thousands of days. Unlike traditional satellites, the X-37B can re-enter Earth's atmosphere autonomously and land like an aircraft, which allows for rapid refurbishment and relaunch cycles. The vehicle's adaptability is one of its most striking features. Official statements highlight missions involving advanced experimentation and technology testing, including quantum navigation systems and laser-based communications. These experiments aim to create more secure, jam-resistant communication methods and highly accurate positioning technologies, which could influence everything from global navigation to future interplanetary travel. Reports also suggest the X-37B has tested space domain awareness technologies, which are tools designed to map better and track the crowded orbital environment. Its compact design belies its power. The X-37B has a payload base similar in size to a pickup truck bed, enabling it to carry small satellites or experimental modules into space. What it carries, however, is often classified, fueling curiosity and speculation worldwide. The fact that its missions are shrouded in secrecy adds to its reputation as a platform that may be more than just a laboratory. While the official narrative emphasizes peaceful technological development, the sheer flexibility of this craft means observers often wonder what else it might achieve. This ambiguity is precisely why researchers abroad are now paying closer attention. With each mission adding new features, the X-37B is not only a test vehicle, it is a symbol of how adaptable space systems are becoming. China's reaction to the X-37B's ongoing development has been vocal and strategic. Researchers from the Space Engineering University in Beijing recently published an analysis describing the U.S. vehicle as a potential space killer. In their view, the craft's ability to maneuver freely, change orbits dynamically, and integrate future technologies like artificial intelligence or nuclear thermal propulsion could reshape how nations compete in orbit. They argue that this adaptability makes the X-37B far more than a science platform. It could one day influence which country maintains leadership in space. These concerns are not only theoretical. The Chinese commentary highlights that each new X-37B mission demonstrates increasing autonomy and versatility. Mission 7, for example, ended in March 2024 after successfully landing at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. That mission tested domain awareness technologies designed to map orbital traffic more effectively, which can also serve as groundwork for understanding and tracking other spacecraft. Such capabilities are viewed as valuable, but also potentially unsettling if applied in ways that give one side an exclusive advantage. At the same time, China has been developing its own reusable spaceplane known as Shenlong. According to state media, Shenlong completed its third orbital test in 2023, remaining in orbit for 268 days before landing in the Gobi Desert. During that mission, the craft reportedly sent strong signals back to Earth while flying over North America, which international observers interpreted as a demonstration of its communications or surveillance functions. The parallel development of Shenlong suggests that China is not just reacting with words, but actively building comparable technology. By creating a spaceplane with similar reusability, landing capability, and long-duration orbit performance, Beijing shows its determination to ensure it is not left behind in this new arena. The rise of these spaceplanes has implications far beyond the vehicles themselves. First, they represent a shift in how nations approach orbit. Traditional satellites, once launched, are stuck in their orbits until they eventually burn up or become space debris. Reusable spaceplanes, by contrast, can move, adapt, return, and relaunch. That means faster cycles of innovation, more flexible missions, and potentially rapid deployment of new systems. Second, these platforms highlight the growing ambiguity between civilian and strategic uses of space technology. For example, when the X-37B tests a new propulsion system or high-efficiency communications link, it can contribute to scientific progress. Yet the very same technology might also enhance the ability to monitor, track, or interact with other objects in orbit. Without transparency, other nations may interpret such experiments as preparation for less peaceful uses. This perception alone has consequences, driving international responses. Third, China's concerns about a potential space killer raise the question of how global governance of space needs to adapt. The Outer Space Treaty of 1967 sets broad limits on space militarization, but it was written long before reusable spaceplanes became a reality. Today's technologies fall into gray zones that existing treaties do not fully address. The X-37B's maneuverability, secrecy, and experimental freedom highlight these gaps. Finally, these developments may accelerate what some describe as a new phase of space competition. With Shenlong emerging as a counterpart and both nations investing heavily in orbital innovation, the dynamic is not purely about rivalry. It's about shaping the future rules of the game. Whichever side defines the norms of reusability, transparency, and orbital rights first may have an outsized influence on how the rest of the world follows. The story of the X-37B and China's Shenlong is not just about two spacecraft. It's about how space itself is changing. These vehicles showcase the power of reusability, rapid innovation, and orbital adaptability, but they also raise questions about transparency, international trust, and the direction of global policy. As we look ahead, the real importance lies not only in the technology, but in how nations respond to it. The future of space will be shaped as much by cooperation and rulemaking as by engineering breakthroughs. Don't forget to hit the like button for more updates on all things space. Thank you for joining us on this journey through space.